Hey everybody, Devin Shaw from Keller Williams Mobile, serving the Mobile, Alabama Gulf Coast. Today I'm joined with a great friend of mine, Sam Franklin, who serves the Metro Philadelphia area. And we're talking today about investing in Mobile. I know we've had a series of our recent newsletters talking about why it's important to invest in your future, investing in properties. So today I wanted to introduce you to Sam Franklin. He recently purchased a duplex here in Mobile, Alabama. He's made a couple trips to the Mobile area prior to the purchase. So Sam, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, and how long you've been in real estate, and then we'll go from there.
Hey, so I am originally from New Jersey. I've been a realtor since 2003, and I'm from a family of realtors. My father actually bought with his friend a short sale listing that I had, I think in like 2012. And he was 62 when he got started just with one property and was able to build it into a 14 property portfolio within like 5 or 6 years, which went from them being really in not having a good financial outlook for their retirement to actually being able to live comfortably in a retirement community that is, they're really happy with where they are, but they, was pushing through a lot of uh, fear on their part to get that started. So, for me, a lot of my friends own investment properties, and I definitely am someone who always leads my clients and friends to investment opportunities, but never really take them for myself. So, at first I thought, oh, I'll be able to refer some clients down to Devin and Steven and get a referral fee on it. But instead, I was like, I should look into this opportunity for myself. The amount of the initial investment was so much lower to get a good property that had good cash flow than what you would find in a lot of other markets where we were exploring. New Jersey and city of Philadelphia, actually New Jersey's a little bit worse, have shifted from already very tenant dominant uh, laws to an even more uh, they've incorporated even more restrictions. So I really didn't want to deal with any of that process, particularly with evictions and for our first rental. So, in researching about Mobile, both through what you had told me and just my own independent research, I felt very comfortable exploring that option.
I know when we initially started talking, you were amazed that you could potentially buy some properties 200,000 and below, well under 200,000 in some cases, and they have a good return. A lot of people just don't have anything like that in their market that they can touch.
Yeah, like initially I had like seen some information about like properties under 100,000 that were investment opportunities, but for what we were looking for a cash on cash investment where you could even with a DSCR loan, which has a slightly higher interest rate, we're still able to get a significant cash flow that we're able to build up reserves and actually within most likely less than 7 years recuperate our entire cash investment, which is great. I didn't actually think of it that way until talking to a couple other people. They're like, I would buy 10 of these. So I was like,
That's
okay,
good.
if you would buy 10, then that makes me feel good about this being my first one. Um, I think that they're really in just constantly going over the inventory, you can actually get like a good property for that purpose in the like low 100s up to like 120 for a single family. There aren't a lot of multifamilies to even look at down there, which is frequently what we look for in investments in the Northeast, just because of uh, keeping at least partially occupied and having something to pay the uh, financing.
Right. I know when we talked originally, we sent you some spreadsheets of some of the stuff that was available, and you were shocked at some of the low property taxes and some of the cap rates ranging anywhere from around 8% up to maybe 15, depending on the property. Is that kind of a big draw as well?
Well, I do have to say that that initial like information you guys sent was definitely hooked me in terms of my interest. But the some of the different factors in the actual costs, um, was important for me to better understand in actually getting a realistic cash flow. But a lot of those things I didn't really discover about why the first property wasn't good until I went on the inspection for the second property and really started to understand some of the differences of property maintenance in Alabama and things to consider, which using a trusted, there are a lot of parties involved in making us comfortable with the purchase. It's not just you and Stephen, who we trust through a personal relationship, but also having a qualified property management company was huge. And also an inspector, which, you know, just getting a good home inspector anywhere is important. But having done two home inspections, if I couldn't make it down for my third home inspection, I would feel comfortable doing that. However, I am definitely a person that always wants to go. So Alabama's not so far that we can't, my dad's interested in investing. He's planning on driving. I don't know why,
Right.
but
Well, and that's a good point. I mean, we do. So one thing I think that was probably the appeal for you to buy in our area was even though you're out of state and even though it's a short drive, could be a short drive or a flight away, is having somebody trusted in the property management. And that's the package that we offer is a total package of the property management piece that, once you go under contract and once the property closes, that you're basically, in good hands and we pick it up from there and get any final repairs done to the property, manage anything that needs to be managed, and get it rented out as quickly as possible. I know in your particular scenario, we had to do some gutters, get those kind of arrange those, getting those set up and all. So, and that's, I think, a lot of people's hesitation to buy outside of their area. But I guess, did you find that process pretty easy as far as us being able to help you get the vendors lined up and help getting everything to go smoothly from that point perspective?
yeah. And, I have to, oh, I guess my connection is unstable for whatever reason. Um,
Oh, I can hear you well.
KW's, okay. That actually is one of the things that, in response to kind of my announcement, people have asked, it's like, how are you going to manage this? I've had other opportunities, but haven't taken them because they're not in my backyard. I don't know enough people to find a management company. But having a management company, I actually had the opportunity to meet Ellen the first time I was down there. So I definitely felt extremely comfortable with her experience level handling property management across the Southeast. And it's just so different. So using someone who really knows what they're doing and that you can trust, really is what makes working with you guys. I have to say, like, I wouldn't call the front desk of KW and just find a realtor. You really have to get someone to work with that has like a full pack. One of the things that, in response to kind of my announcement, people have asked, is like, how are you going to manage this? I've had other opportunities, but haven't taken them because they're not in my backyard. I don't know enough people to find a management company. But having a management company, I actually had the opportunity to meet Ellen the first time I was down there. So I definitely felt extremely comfortable with her experience level, handling property management across the Southeast. And it's just so different. So using someone who really knows what they're doing and that you can trust, really is what makes working with you guys. I have to say, like, I wouldn't call, the front desk of KW and just find a realtor. You really have to get someone to work with that has like the full suite.